I thought that they were going to ask me to list all of the members of BTS, but no, they let me through. We are in South Korea. Are they having a mass exorcism or something? This is one of the most expensive cities in the world. Get it away!
What?
That was a spider. This is Seoul. A place of fortune-telling and plastic surgery.
What do you think I did?
Do you know where to go? This is a city where every woman has her own style. What about your husband?
Well, what else is there to do?
This is what a typical date outfit looks like. It's anti-sex. And just have a look at the food. Come on, where do you think you're going? Just sit still on the plate, please. I feel like I'm in a horror movie. This is one of the most densely populated megacities on the planet, a place of palaces, plastic surgery, and sleepless people. In Seoul, they sleep less than other big cities around the world. Maybe coffee, a popular drink, has something to do with that. Ice Americano for you. Now let's go have fun. Believe it or not, we are in Seoul. We are in Seoul, and these slums are on the edge of the city. On top of that, they are in one of the most beautiful districts. Where are the cars? Where are all the models? Where are the plastic surgery clinics? How? How can this be possible? There in the distance behind my back is elite real estate, and around me mountains of garbage. Welcome to the slums and the village the locals call Gurion.
This is a standard village toilet with a hole in the floor.
Of course you won't see this place in any travel brochures. Our group was made up of local bloggers Nikolai and Dassel.
By the way, they use liquefied gas here. And because of that, there was just a massive fire in the summer of last year and 60 houses burned down.
There are abandoned shacks hand-built with plywood, metal, and plastic. I'm scared that someone will jump out at me out of nowhere. Or maybe some kind of angry dog.
This here is one of those houses. It just had a single room, and here on the right is the kitchen and the communal toilet.
Listen, there are still things here. There are still dishes here. Dishes waiting to be washed, and shoes. It's as if we walked into a town after a major disaster.
We can open this. I don't know how, but we could try and open this door.
I don't think we should. It could collapse at any moment, and then that is it. And if you look in some of the post boxes, you'll still find letters.
Here.
Look at this. I can't believe that there are still letters being sent here.
I'm also surprised. Seems that all of the houses built here were built illegally, but it also seems they have addresses? 114,000, but what for?
For electricity.
For electricity.
114,000.
Yeah, these shacks are so small, but they pay so much.
Do these people also pay for electricity?
Yeah, there's a meter here.
There is, indeed.
These people don't have any heating, and there's no water or light either.
So, even if you live in these slums, you have to pay, as if you live in one of the elite neighborhoods.
Just look at that. Look at that. It's like we're in a different song.
Yes!
Side of the city they won't show on TV.
There is laundry drying on the clothesline. There are rusty satellites on the roofs and fire extinguishers. So does anyone live here or not? Mommy! Oh my god, we got away from there quickly.
I wasn't expecting there to be a dog.
She's hidden away so well. Look at her teeth sticking out. Scary.
Oh no, that's a big dog.
Okay, good boy.
Let's go here. Everything is so overgrown here that I don't even know where the road leads.
Yeah, it's crazy how nature's taken over. How do you like Seoul?
We can go in here if you want.
Dazzle, don't get dirty, be careful. This is quite a big house. And bedroom.
Whoa.
Nikolai, what's wrong with you?
Oh my god. Ooh. I guess it's just the kind of place where things like that happen.
I can't believe how big this village is. We went that side and that way too, and now we're on this street. And all down here are rows of these hand-built shacks. This looks like a horror movie. I can hear someone talking.
There's someone there.
Do you hear that?
Yeah, I heard a grandma talking to someone on the phone.
And just a little stone throw away is the Gangnam that Psy sang about. And this is where the elite live. Oppa Gangnam Style. Remember that hit? Psy sang about the fashionistas from this area and made it famous. Psy was making fun of the rich and the people who try to copy them, their strange jokes and their parties. In 2012, the song topped the charts in more than 30 countries around the world. And this sculpture was made to honor the song. The video got into the Guinness Book of Records for getting the most amount of likes in the whole world and breaking 1 billion views on YouTube. Malaysia, Malaysia. And you also like this song?
Yeah.
Skyscrapers, nightclubs, gorgeous cars, and plastic surgery clinics. We'll check that out later. Brand name stores and a walk of fame like in Hollywood. They have everything. In short, the real Dolce Vita in Korea. Next to the alley, there are gorgeous stores and entertainment. In short, luxury, luxury, and top top. And they also say that there's a cafe around here that celebrities like to visit. Performers and artists and actors. So where did this glossy sheen come from? And why does it have an ugly side? The slums started popping up at the end of the 80s. In the build-up to the Summer Olympics, people were moved here because their houses had to be demolished, and they also moved the poor here to not bother the visitors. The organizers wanted the city to be as pristine as possible for the tourists. Resettlement of those in the slums only began in 2015. They wanted to build residential complexes and shopping centers. Those affected were entitled to daily compensation from the state. But the thing about Seoul is if you don't build wealth, you can't buy anything. Maybe you can in the wilderness, but there's no guarantee. So what does it say here? 2527? What's that?
That is either a house number or the amount of people who refuse to be evicted from this place, but if we look at the date, this was done in 2017, so it might not be relevant anymore.
The exact number of residents is unknown, but in 2005, there were about 4,000 people living here, and now there are 600 residents. They refused to be evicted.
Yeah. Because
Why?
there were grandmothers and grandfathers who believed that this was the center of the city and that they should be given some of the apartments being built for nothing.
On average, a square meter of real estate in the central parts of Seoul go for $9,000, and this figure keeps growing. There just isn't much space to build anymore. Here in the slums, old people who do not want to move and those who do not have money come together.
Excuse me, madam. Do you mind if I talk to you?
I do. You can't.
Ah.
Go away.
Okay, we're leaving.
We came across a local beauty salon unexpectedly.
Look at that. They even have their own beauty salon here.
Oh, look. Who was the last to get their nails done? Oh,
Is there someone?
hello. Hi.
Oh,
Look, someone's getting their
it's
hair
open.
done. It is open, and the owner is busy with the client, so we ask how much the service costs.
I only do haircuts here and also hair dyeing. For those I know, I don't charge much for my
okay.
work.
And this is a local supermarket in the house.
In here, as you see, they sell cool drinks and soju and beer. And here, there's canned food. They only take cash. And some snacks, ramen.
Yeah, look at all that. And you can have a nap over here. I guess the owner lives in here.
That's right, he does.
Here's the
It's his
wardrobe.
house. He's watching TV there.
Yes.
A Korean show.
It reminds me of that movie, Parasite, that was directed by Bong Joon-ho. The one about social inequality. Glitter and luxury are contrasted with poverty. It's not just a movie. Some people who managed to set up a business in the village of Guryong are the owners of this cafe, and there's a surprising amount of people. What are they doing here? In a place like this, at a time like this? As it turns out, they all love hiking and they have a tradition that Dazzle filled me in on. Once they get back from their hike, they have to have a snack here. According to the reviews, the food is alright and more importantly, cheap.
This cafe will probably be open for around another year, but there are also reconstruction plans for this area as well, and the whole village will be torn down.
But it's not set in stone. My heart's bleeding. How can people live in conditions like this? I really hope that something good happens for them soon. That they get resettled into houses that are normal.
In my life, I have been to cities all around the country, but I've never seen settlements like this one. Can you believe that we are in the center of Seoul and there are settlements like this? Like, to me, it's still a shock.
Look at this. The three of us have just left the village. They're building here, and over here you have a rural village. And you look to your left, and there are these buildings. Like two different worlds. The contrast is amazing. Gyeongbokgung, which means the Palace of Happiness. But the truth of what happened at this palace makes Mexican TV dramas look tame. In Seoul, there are 5 palaces that have been preserved. Gyeongbokgung, most important, a business card for the city. As soon as you walk through the gates, you're thrown into Korean history, the medieval state of Joseon. Many visitors wear traditional outfits called hanboks, but not only as a nod to tradition. Entrance to the palace is 3,000 won, if you're an adult. But if one were to show up in these traditional costumes, then the entrance is totally free. Visitors can also rent out these outfits and they'll help you choose colors and make you look like someone from the Middle Ages. But there's a catch. It is so hot here, even in just a t-shirt. I really have no idea how people can walk around in authentic outfits. There are so many layers to them. Walking through this open-air museum, it is very easy to start imagining how the royal family and their courtiers lived. It's a shame most of the rooms are off-limits to the public. Don't enter, don't enter. But seeing these signs make me a lot more curious. They make me wonder what they could be hiding inside. Why can't I go in? But they won't stop me from trying. Oh! It's locked. Everything is locked. The next one. This one also doesn't want to open. But there's centuries-old dust on me. And this one's locked from the outside. The palace was renovated recently, and as it happens, they got some help from the Italian fashion house Gucci. The restoration had to happen because of one event. In 1895, the palace witnessed high political scandals. A group of Japanese mercenaries snuck in and stabbed Queen Min. Her husband, the Emperor of Korea, fled the palace. The Japanese tore most of the buildings to the ground. Out of a total of 300, only 10 were spared. Look up there, on the roof, there's a painting called Tancheon. This is wood that's been painted in bright colors, in this case red, blue, and yellow. This was not only protection from evil, but also from bad weather, and also from insects that are native to this area. I wanted to keep looking, but I couldn't, because I was distracted.
We were told to ask foreigners questions for our homework. It's a lottery.
What Korean K-pop groups are popular in the world these days? Oh, I know BTS.
Oh, wow.
I know Blackpink.
Oh!
I know Stray Kids.
Oh, they're geniuses. Here, you can get 2 prizes. Awesome.
Would you have ever imagined that this time, Nori won a couple of prizes just by naming some K-pop groups? Now what is Hallyu? This is what they call the spread of South Korean culture across the world. TV shows and music, fashion, more people around the world are getting into it. And this means South Korea is getting millions of dollars. In order to grow economically in the midst of a crisis, the authorities laid down plans for a cultural revolution. Natural resources are scarce, so they put effort into growing the show business industry with emphasis on K-pop, which is a mixture of dance music, hip-hop, R&B, and electropop. K-pop was born in the 90s, and at first only Koreans knew about it, but by the year 2000 it spread around the world, including Russia.
Yes.
Is your husband jealous?
Well, what else is there to do?
Yana got into K-pop, moved to Seoul, and opened her own shop for fans of this subculture, where, for example, they sell memorabilia and paraphernalia of the popular groups, such as smartphone cases and exclusive trinkets.
It all started with Chaemin's pop-up, and it was the hype that really got the trend going. And it gave the opportunity to make chains like this for free when people visited.
It really
And
feels
look
like
at
K-popers have their own language. They created their own understanding. The K-pop revolution led to the birth of its own language and terminology. Pop-up means the sale of an attribute or, in other words, merch of a particular group. Crush or BES is a popular performer known as an idol. Collecting cards has now become a trend.
Cards are now the most popular kind of merchandise. Nothing is more popular than it.
So are you saying that fans of these artists have now started trading the
Sometimes-
cards between each other?
Sometimes they do trade, but most people are buying them to build up their own personal collections.
Then do they spend hours going through their albums?
Yeah, they do that, or they put them on display in their apartments. So they put them in different folders. All of them focused on different artists. This is how they rank their favorite artists.
To me, this is an entirely different world. I'm really trying my best to understand. Cards are sold either together with the records or they can be sold individually. They created a special online platform where they can browse through the cards and order the ones they want.
I think I'm gonna buy
These
something.
boys are so cute, very cute.
Let me show you some others.
Look at this picture over here. Bring the camera and get a shot of this,
Oh, yes,
Nina.
of
I think
course.
that this is one of my
Of
favorites.
course he is.
I think he's so beautiful. It's a big digital flea market where the prices for cards start from just a few cents, while rare pictures can go for the price of a plane swing. As it happens, a portrait of the idol Jungkook is the most expensive one ever sold.
Hi, can I
this
get
went
this?
for almost 4 million won, which is $3,500. Can you imagine that? Imagine spending that much money on a normal 9x12 picture. I mean, no offense, K-pop fans. This is a special wallet where you can keep these cards. Am I right?
You see, this is the minimum level for a fan. This is only the beginning.
Do you mean in terms of the amount of cards it
Yes.
holds? Alright, now it's time for me to find my crush. I blindly buy a box with cards of idols, then choose my favorite. Oh, I think this is the one I like. Yeah, I'll take this one.
A very good choice.
According to Yana, I put him in a transparent case. Everyone meet Changbing? My new crush. A beast. Let's be real, a beast.
I feel like a matchmaker.
My beast doesn't have to be the only one I enjoy. People go through them like gloves. Well, most of the time people decorate them with all kinds of bright stickers and other stuff. There we go, now it's fashionable. Super. This is how it starts for every fan of K-pop. First, it's just one card with a few accessories, and it snowballs from there. It is so addictive.
Oh, obviously I like everything in this shop.
Listen, I also feel exactly the
Yeah.
same. This process of choosing a picture and putting it in a pack, it has such a meditative effect. It does. And now, all I can think about is seeing my crush in real life. I want to see him live.
Let's go find Changbin.
Where do I go to find him now?
At his concert.
He's very popular, I'm not sure. Yeah, maybe a concert. Or a broadcast. Yeah, maybe you can find him near a TV studio.
What?
See, like this. He sent me a picture.
He's so cute.
cute. And I hear send a text back.
So is it only
Yeah?
tasteful pictures?
Oh, nudes are not allowed.
This is a special app, Idol, or his social media manager, sends messages to all of his fans at the same time, but you have to subscribe.
Wait, and how much does it cost?
Oh, it's 4,500 won? Oh,
Korea is full of shops specifically for K-pop fans, and this is another one. It has 3 floors. Wow. This
It's
is really
amazing.
big. In this shop, you can get the music as compact discs, and there is even a special place for unpacking. It is really old school. This is stickers? Yeah, a sticker pack. I was told that you should do it like this. for a bigger effect.
So, what is it?
It's a poster to go on the wall. I'm going to hang it above my bed. So, what can I get in this shop? I do not believe it, they even sell themed Monopoly sets. There are bracelets and bags and cosmetics. It looks like they have absolutely everything. Those who invented K-pop and gave birth to this whole industry truly are brilliant people. Just imagine how much money there is in this industry. The K-pop industry as a whole generally makes up to about $10 billion every year. The income of the most popular groups like EXO and BTS can be as much as hundreds of millions. The creation of these idols are in full swing like a factory of stars. Future K-pop performers are recruited as children and taken to music production centers, where they're taught to sing, dance, play music instruments, and engage with the public. We have come to a place where the stars are born, where normal people get turned into idols. The place that turns guys and girls into real K-pop heroes. One of the largest production centers. Let's go. Let's go and see how all of this works. Wow! Hello! Hello! Nice to meet you. You are all so beautiful. I know that Nova speaks English.
Yeah,
So then we'll speak English?
of course.
This is EXIN, a group with 5 members. They made their debut in April 2023. If you want to be an idol, you don't need to be born in Korea. So, do you speak Korean more than you speak English?
Yeah, I do. I usually speak Korean, but to the fans, I speak English. And there's also a girl from India, and I speak English to her too. And I can also speak Russian, but only when I'm talking to someone from Russia, it all gets a bit strange.
Languages are a good skill to
Yeah.
have. Because of this, EXIN is a unique group. International K-pop groups in Korea are a rarity, which means Nova often gets a lot of criticism.
On the internet, I wasn't accepted right away, and there are still a lot of people who don't fully accept me.
Back in Russia, Nova, known as Maria, studied to be a biotechnologist. And while she was studying, she was also a professional ballroom dancer and would record covers of K-pop songs. And then, like a script out of a movie, her videos got noticed in Korea. She was invited to audition, so she dropped everything and came over even when her parents said no.
Well, at the start, they were pretty scared because they thought, where am I going? I don't know the country, I don't know the language, and I don't know anybody, so how will I survive on my own?
You're a brave girl.
Well, to be honest, I never thought about myself like that, but if you think that you're probably right. But I do think I'm an adventurer to some extent.
The thing that distinguishes idols from other celebrities is their impeccable reputation, says Nova. Like the old commercial says, image is everything. So does that mean you can't go to the shop in your slippers?
I go out, actually. All I need to do is wear a mask and a hat like this, and it's fine. No, it's not really about our looks, but more about how we behave. People care about what we do and what we say. People really pay attention to our words we use. For example, we can't swear at all.
For celebrities in Korea, idols in particular, there are certain benefits. For example, the men can be exempt from army service, but the super popular group BTS wasn't given that exemption. J-Hope, RM, Lee, Jimin, and Jungkook didn't get exempted and are currently serving, but they say that they will be back on stage soon. The girls in EXIN also have military discipline. They can't get into relationships because this can upset their fans and they don't have time for it. Nova gets up at 3 a.m. and with live shows, rehearsals, she only gets home in the middle of the night. Sometimes she gets 1 day off a week, but she still thinks she is very lucky to be where she is.
You can give up on everything at the start of the journey, just because it seems like nothing will work out, and it usually isn't true for K-pop. It can be applied to any industry, and even to life as a whole. If you think that there is no way, if you wonder how it could possibly happen, if you convince yourself that you can't do it, then how will you ever get what you want? How will you make your dreams come true?
Oh my god!
No, don't cry!
My mascara is running.
Sorry. I didn't mean to. Oh no. I'm so sorry.
Stop it! Stop making me cry! Is that an idol trick?
It wasn't my fault. Oh, right.
I'm sure
Let's
they
calm
taught you
down.
that in your training. There is a kind of wall of fame filled up with plaques and all kinds of awards. And in this room, idols spend hours practicing their dance moves. This is Isha.
And she's the one who comes up with the choreography for our dances, and she did the choreography for some of our songs as well. She's an excellent choreographer.
And now it is time for rehearsal.
I really like Pocahontas. Got me staring. Got me wearing strange.
How are they so perfectly synchronized?
It's just a poncho. Heads are turning one by one. What have you done? Let it burn in the night. It's my call, y'all.
To all the girls who are watching, how would you like to be a member of this group? Every day you're training, every day you're rehearsing and then performing? Would you like that? Let me know in the comments. Maybe I should become an idol. No? Why not?
Ta-da-ta, ta-ta-ta, no doubt. Down, up, with your shoulders 1 and 2, and then clap your hands. And then you need to jump onto your left leg and do a circular slide. Yeah. And then 1, 2.
Damn, what is this?
Rock. 1, 2, 3, done.
Run it through a couple of times to consolidate. And then it's time to perform with the other dancers. They promised they'd call me back. And they gave me this as a souvenir.
And here you go.
Wow! Thanks a lot! Seoul is the Korean word for capital city. It's one of the most densely populated metropolises of the planet. The area is 605 square kilometers, and there are about 10 million people living here. And adding all 25 suburbs, Seoul accounts for half the population of South Korea. But what is it about the city that makes it different to others? The charm of Seoul lies in its cultural diversity. On one side you have palaces and villages, and here you have office buildings. And you can come sit here and relax. An oasis that blocks out the city noise. Seoul is truly different, and if you want to talk about vibes, the vibe here is special. Office workers rush about their business while storks are going about theirs. And here, musical chimes are hung over the pond according to the principles of Feng Shui to block out the city.
There is no clearly defined center of the city. There are a lot of different centers that belong to different cultures. For example, we're in the financial center. There is the Gangnam Business Center, that's Hongdae, which has always struck me as a place where students hang out.
Sasha Snitovsky is a blogger who travels a lot, and he very accurately captures the features of places and their people, and lately he's been living in South Korea. So tell me how Koreans are different to people from other countries.
I would say that probably Koreans are firstly people with a very Western mentality. I mean, if you look at China, it tends to be very isolated and they have their own mentality. You can say the same about the Japanese who are isolated because of their territory situation. But in Korea, there is a strong American influence and you can see that influence in the country's movies and in the music and all of that. And I guess compared to the rest of Asia, there's a more modern mentality. In many ways, Korea is an optimal Asia where a person with a European mindset can feel comfortable.
Sasha and I decided to have a Korean snack. One of the most popular dishes here is ramen, which we know as instant noodles. According to the most modest estimates, every Korean eats at least 80 servings per year, which means the average Korean has it once every 4 days. The dish became popular in the 60s when the country was ravaged by a food shortage.
Generally, ramen is boiled. What we're doing now is the amateur way. If we wanted to do it the proper Korean way, we would boil them for ages.
But we're simply going to pour boiling water over them, add a bag of spice, and leave it for a few minutes. Although, opening the flavor packet is as much work as cooking properly. Come on. How do I open this packet? Don't you have some kind of life hack or something?
Hang on. There, I've done it. It's something that comes with experience.
Sasha says that Koreans develop a love for ramen from an early age. Not a single school trip is complete without these noodles.
Even my child back at home was given a pack of doshirak for some holiday when he was in kindergarten. They said it was for him to eat at home. I thought it was very strange.
While we were waiting for our noodles to cook properly, Sasha showed me some cooking devices that all Koreans use, such as mini kitchens, and utensils are sold at the front of the stores where you buy ramen. Now we have noodles that were made without any cooking. Let's see what they're like. What do you think? Well, is it good?
Koreans think this. If it's tasty, then it's okay. They're like us in this way.
The economic crisis ended a long time ago, so Koreans can probably afford things that are more expensive and better for you.
The average salary is 3.5 million won, which is around $3.5 million. And so, with a little bit of rounding up, that is about 260,000 rubles. But if, for example, you're some kind of university lecturer, then you probably make around 7 to 8 million won, which is about $5,500 a month. And that is considered quite good.
And in Korea, food is often used as a test to figure out if a guy is a womanizer or not.
If a guy goes on a date and knows in advance that the girl will have something spicy, then he probably goes on a lot of dates. Because Korean women like spicy food much more than the guys do. If she goes for tteokbokki, she can handle spice. If it's ramen, then she can handle the heat. If a guy knows about this, then you can be sure he goes on a lot of dates.
This might seem like a strange way of doing things, but Koreans believe in it. So apart from ramen, what else do you definitely need to try in this country? We'll get to that later. I wonder what all this could be about. It's either a concert or a rally. Everyone has flags. Maybe it's some kind of exorcism. Why is he getting so worked up? Is this a seance or an exorcism or something? The man on stage starts to rap something, and now this whole thing feels more like a music festival. Just look at how many people have shown up for this. Even Beyonce would be jealous. I try to find out from the passerbys what's actually going on here. Can you talk quickly? No! There are all these American flags, but nobody wants to help me. What's going on? In the middle of this chaos, I ran into a tourist from New York, and like me, he was a little shocked. I am just trying to figure out what is going on here.
Yeah, it's some kind of madness. Nobody likes the United States outside of the United States, so it's very weird to see all these American flags.
Luckily, we ran into a local woman who was more than happy to explain to us what all these people were doing here.
We have to defend our freedom of right, you know, and freedom. So we have to fight, freedom for our country, communism.
There you have it, this whole event, a political rally, and the MC? Who do you expect? A pastor from the local church. That would explain why I kept hearing the crowd shout out, Hallelujah.
역사하는 힘이 많다고 했어요. 하나님의 기적이 임하는 것입니다. 할렐루야.
Koreans very actively express their opinions on a variety of issues. They protect against the president, against corruption, against inequality, and even against the huge cranes in the center of the city. Yes, they even protest that. Residents of Seoul will come out to protest no matter what the weather's doing. Everyone in the family comes. This is how the citizens express their unhappiness with President Yoon Suk-yeol after he decided to introduce martial law. A group of supporters of the president set up a camp nearby. It seems like being president of South Korea is one of the most dangerous professions in the world. It is rare for the president or relatives not to spend time behind bars. This is what happened to the predecessors of Yoon Suk-yeol. Lee Sung-man was overthrown and fled too. And Yoon Bun-sung was overthrown too. Park Chu-hee was killed. Cha Wagua was ousted during a coup. Chung Do-hwan arrested, sentenced to death, then later downgraded to a life sentence and finally released in 1998. Roh Dae-woo resigned but was sentenced to 22 years before getting amnesty in 98. Kim Yoon-sam was imprisoned before he became president. Both sons of Kim Dae-jung was imprisoned. No Moo-young was accused of corruption after he resigned and committed suicide. Lee Moon-bak, sentenced to 17 years, was released on amnesty in 2022. Park Jun-hye was sentenced to 24 years in prison and was pardoned in 2021. I wonder if these people just came to take a nap in fresh air.
Are you ready? Did you get something to eat?
Every Saturday for the last 7 years, we've been holding protests right here in the same spot.
And we are protesting against North Korea's policies. 7 years, 7 years! The last 7 years, every Saturday.
Every Saturday you come here, right? Do you get paid money?
No.
No?
We get nothing.
The shopkeeper from a tent nearby explains the presence of American flags to me.
So we needed an alliance with the US because we're vulnerable to North Korea. Yeah, so we need allies.
The conflict within northern neighbors is painful for South Koreans. It has been going on for more than 70 years since the war on the Korean peninsula, and the resentment has been passed down from generation to generation.
I know. This is so complicated. I know. This, around the country, this is complicated issue.
On top of their ideological disagreements, the two Koreas were divided by a demilitarized zone. The border strip is 4 kilometers wide and 241 kilometers long and stretches along 38 parallel. This is a highly protected, highly restricted area filled with landmines, with troops stationed on both sides. Trying to cross the demilitarized zone is nothing more than a fantasy. But it is possible to go on an excursion to the border, and a brand new route has just opened. I couldn't give up this kind of chance, but more on that later. The main thing that you need to learn in this life are protein, fats, and carbohydrates. Let's go and try Korean street food. Let's go and see if everything is as spicy as I've been told. The Gwanjang market is one of the oldest in Seoul, and it's been in operation since 1905. Bloggers Nicolay and Dassel have promised to share their bravest food experiments with me. So, what do we have here? At the entrance to the market, there's a massive queue. Why are all these people here?
I think that all these people are busy waiting for the Gwanjang Market Twisted Donuts tasting. People really like it.
What's that?
It's a traditional kind of pastry. It's a traditional creation that looks like a pig's tail.
People spend at least half an hour in line, and all for pastry?
Whenever a new place opens, then there is always a long line that forms outside, and you can easily spend an hour or two even just waiting for it.
This place owes its hype to the numerous Korean TV shows, where lots of famous people come to try different sweets. That's why there's a crowd here now. Okay, let's leave the pastries for dessert.
Here we have fish pancakes called omu, tteokbokki, mandu, which are Korean dumplings, and if you look this side, we have chicken feet, japchae glass noodles, or as we often like to call them, blood sausage sundae,
boy.
Pig legs, and then over here we have what's called a kimbap.
I've never seen such a thick glass noodle before.
There's also a campfire kimbap. Here.
Oh, well, this is like... Oh my gosh. It looks like I'm not the only one going crazy at the sight of so much food. Let's not tear the market down just yet, because we came here with a goal, to try some delicious food. It's not the time. We haven't had the chance to explore everything on offer yet, so let's do that.
These are pork skins.
And I'm going to guess that these are probably vegetable dumplings?
They're kimchi, actually.
They're kimchi dumplings? Kimchi, which is basically spicy, seasoned, and sautéed vegetables, is something that all Koreans are taught to respect from young. But not everyone knows how to cook this national dish properly, and the busyness of life means that there isn't much time to learn. So guys, do you have your money ready? It's time to eat. This is more like something I want to try. Something that is unusual. Oh, live octopus, for example. I've never tried it.
Wow,
and look at how she's looking at me with that inviting smile. She's telling us to come on in. See that? See how they're pushing me so that I don't go anywhere? Come on, let's go in before I change my mind. In Korea and in neighboring Japan, a few people die every year from eating live octopus. This happens exclusively when men are trying to prove to everybody that there are alpha males trying to eat the whole thing. The squid sticks to the inside of their throat and it suction cups and suffocates them. It's worthy of a Darwin Award. Octopus is not cheap on the market. It goes for 35,000 won, which is about $25. It's all raw. Won't we get poisoned?
There are a lot of pharmacies in the area, so you can get deworming tablets immediately.
Thank you.
No, Koreans drink at least one tablet every year.
Considering the love Koreans have for raw seafood, parasitic prevention is a must. And as we speak, the hostess is catching an octopus for us. Are you sure it's alive? Look at that, it's even moving. Obviously, it's a shame for it, poor baby. The kitchen is filled with horror. Don't watch if you have a weak stomach. She chopped it up, but the pieces are still moving. This is terrible to watch. It's a horror movie.
She did that all without gloves.
That's right. Yeah, I've been watching it happen too. And I don't think she even washed her hands. Yes, it was definitely worth going to the pharmacy. And where do you think you're going? I feel like I'm in a horror movie. Look, the food is moving. It's trying to get off the plate. To do this properly, I need to dip the octopus in sesame seed oil with salt and pepper. And then try to pull it out of the bowl. You see, excuse me? Just
You know what to do. Put it in your mouth
Okay, let's do
and
this.
don't bite right away. Let it sit in there for a bit.
I can feel it sticking itself to my tongue.
Yeah, that's
so
just
weird.
what it does. Keep going.
It's such a strange feeling, and when you try and chew the octopus, it's like chewing rubber. Honestly, there's nothing special about the flavor, but when the octopus tries to cling to my tongue, it's a feeling that I've never felt before, and I'm not sure what to make of it. The feeling is, I can only compare it to champagne bubbles. Except, it's an octopus. The next dish is hanwoo, which is premium class marbled beef. It's the pride of Korea. They say it's the best you can get in the world. You barely have to chew. I didn't even realize that I was eating meat. It is so soft and tender. Every bite I had just melted in my mouth. Really, I didn't even know meat could taste like this. Hanwoo is usually served with a yolk and a handful of pears. Combined with that sweet flavor, the beef is nothing short of mind-blowing. Koreans often argue with the Japanese about who has the best marbled beef. The Japanese have a premium class dish called wagyu, but the Koreans are convinced their hanwoo is more tender and tastier because whenever they sell it, it is only ever sold chilled, and so it keeps its structure. But the problem with wagyu is that it is exported all over the world, so it has to be frozen. This is probably the dumbest thing I've ever done. The guys have convinced me to eat a traditional Korean snack, hot peppers with soybean paste. Uh-oh.
What's wrong?
Why did you make me do that?
Spicy.
Are you kidding me? My mouth's on fire. I need something to cool this down. I run to another snack bar and then find myself in a moment of unexpected generosity.
Hang on. This is my gift to you.
Oh, is this a gift for me? This guy decided to treat me to a portion of tteokbokki. These are dumplings made of rice flour in a sauce, very popular in Korea. That's so
Is it
good. Mm-hmm. It's just a bit spicy,
There.
but it isn't too bad. But it's the perfect level, sticky and spicy sauce. That's the way. Cool. So tasty. I think I might have found my new favorite dish in the whole of Korea. Delicious, unexpected, lovely.
I like Moscow.
Yeah?
Moscow. No.
Good one. Now we're gonna try some classic Korean pancakes. They look more like pies, and they are made with pork and seafood, and people at this market really like them. Guys, these aren't pancakes, they're pies. They're massive pies. Look at the size of this thing. This is my normal intake of calories. I can't believe how big it is. They're quite massive, but they're actually quite easy to eat because they're made of eggs and peas. And now it's time for another local delicacy, something called blood sausage. It looks like it's got glitter on it. It looks like noodles or rice. What is it?
It is glass noodles.
Basically, it's sausage stuffed with noodles. Another national dish of Korea, although I didn't really understand it. It seemed a bit perverse to me. But maybe the most controversial and dubious dish one can get in South Korea is dog meat. When did the tradition of eating out four-legged friends start? No one knows for sure, but it seems to be before our time. In the 70s of the last century, dogs were bred as livestock, and in the same numbers, the masses were slaughtered. Although the mentality in the country is slowly changing, the amount of restaurants offering the delicacy has gone down. The authorities have adopted a law prohibiting the consumption of dog meat, and is set to come into effect in 2027. Anyone breaking this law could get a huge fine and even prison time.
These days, young people have started thinking about dogs as pets rather than food. Because of that, even if the law wasn't in place, then sooner or later, maybe in 5 years or in 10 years' time, people would just decide to stop eating them, and it wouldn't be such a big problem anymore.
There is more food on the table. They also brought an omelet with octopus. And Dassel treats us to rice wine makgeolli. Its alcohol content is 6% and it was invented in ancient times.
Cheers.
Cheers!
What we say is chan.
Tan?
Chan.
Chun.
Chun.
Chun. Chun, my friends.
If you get drunk on Magoli, then there's no way you're getting up in the morning. You're gonna be man down for the whole day.
Is it really that heavy? They also bought Korean mini rolls, kimbap, which is raw and pickled vegetables with rice wrapped in seaweed. I really don't think I can fit any more in my stomach. It's quite something.
So what did you like the most?
I liked everything I tasted. It's true, it was all delicious. Tteokbokki is number 1. Number 2, it's this. What do you call it? It would be these pancake pies with the peas. And number 3 would be this dish. What is it called again?
Haemulpajeon.
Haemulpajeon, which is scrambled egg with squid. With octopus. I almost forgot. Let's try those pastries. Oh, we walked past the generous man.
He's already giving things to other people.
Oh my gosh, look at how many girls he has around him. Oh my goodness. The line seems to be even longer than before. I guess you can always rely on South Koreans.
Well, that guy, he gave you tteokbokki. But the women who were sitting there were all eating beef tartare, which is a lot more expensive than tteokbokki.
Now let's focus on the pastries. Are they really as special as people say? Thank you.
You take that one. Mine one's coming.
Time to find out.
For a pastry like this, I will stand in line for 10 minutes, but not for a whole hour.
It's okay. Definitely worth trying.
And it's quite cheap. 1,000 won. That's not bad.
Now we need to work this off to the gym.
You're mad.
There's a tradition I have to always try baths. That's just the way I am. So when I see a Korean spa, I can't just walk past. And this one is called Jimjingbang. Let's see. When you walk in, they give you slippers and pajamas made of cotton, and you're not allowed to wear shoes inside. A red line takes you to the women's side and a blue line to the men's. I can't take you to see the bathroom, because everyone's naked in there. No clothes at all. And that content is not right for the show. But I can tell you that on the first floor, there is a sauna. It's not all that interesting, it's normal, but go past that, and you will find some very interesting spaces. This is a zone of relaxation. It's a space where you can lie down, play cards, watch a football match on TV, and even have a nap. As you can see, this is the common area. Boys and girls all together. The men wear blue clothes and the women wear orange. And also, everyone's walking around in these funny pants. There are some rooms here. Look at these people. They're so relaxed. Wherever you look, everyone is just taking it easy. This is what the room looked like inside. If Evgeny was here. Why do people always feel the need to leave messages like this everywhere? I just found out that this room was specifically built as a place for fortune telling. And it is the best place to do it because it's dark and it's pretty warm. And there are only women in here. Now they just need some cards. And they could do some kind of reading, or they could call the Queen of Spades. And there are all separate areas to go and cool down, cryo chambers. It's cold enough in here to attract polar bears. Let's see. This is what they call a cooling sauna. I wouldn't call it a sauna. I would call it a refrigerator. Just look at this. It's real ice. This room is full of cold lovers, Arctic lovers. Have you noticed how all of the men and women seem to make funny-looking caps with towels? They look like curled horns.
K-pop.
K-pop? Ah, it's K-pop.
Some idols. Yes. Some of them did this, and it was very good. It was shown on TV.
I was taught how to do it. So that's how you do it? It's curled up, right? So
that's it.
They also have a food court here. You can get soup and meat. It's a normal choice. There are sausages too. I've also found out that the most popular dishes around here is boiled eggs. You can also buy them in the food court, and it's something that in general, Korean people love. And for some or other reason, it's customary to eat them here. Bathhouses are also popular places for people to come on dates, joint relaxation, and reasonable prices. It would all be fine, but the shape of the clothes, it's anti-sex. What do you think of all this? Let me know in the comments. This is also a popular place for tourists. There's even a luggage room. And this doesn't exist by chance. A lot of people come here to spend the night because it's cheaper and more fun than possibly checking into some fancy hotel. It has everything. I cleaned myself, I ate, I even got in a workout. There is even a gym in the sauna, and it's a pretty good one with lots of machines. And staying here costs about 15,000 won. I'm still not 100% sure what it reminds me of, either a hostel or some kind of playroom for adults? A place where you can come and watch football, or where you can play with gadgets, or where you can read a book, or where you can get a massage. There are huge massage chairs all over the spa. I booked myself 10 minutes of relaxation. I met a guy from Kyrgyzstan, and he is a regular client.
Well, actually, I heard about the sauna in a TV show, a drama. And it was the very first drama I watched, and it stayed with me.
I find these little rooms so funny. They look like caves. People just sit in them, each in their own cave. But if one person starts snoring, it would wake everybody else up.
Yes, and they'd put up with it. But I think you and I would say something, and we would tell that person to shut up.
We'd use a pen.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'd squeeze his nose. Time goes by so quickly in the bathhouse that I didn't even realize night was coming. The subway has already closed for the night. This is a dilemma. Do I take a taxi? Which is quite expensive. I am staying quite far from here, so I could spend the night here instead. I'll take a chance and stay here just like everybody else does. And it isn't just tourists, but also locals. This is how they can save on utilities. Like this man that I met, he quickly accepted me into his party and shared some snacks with me. Thank you.
Can you open it? You are very strong. You'll love that cookie. It's great.
Then there was this lady. Oh! She had clearly had too much to drink, even though the rules say that you are not allowed to drink alcohol, but that clearly doesn't stop some people. I've settled in and I'm lying down. Everything is fine. Maybe the bed's a bit hard, and the pillow's also not the softest thing, but if you're tired, you can sleep. All the children are running around. They're also having a great time. Adults are going back and forth. In general, it is a complete carnage here, and there is no set time to go to bed. And you can probably only get a good night's rest if you're so tired and you could fall asleep on your feet.
The best thing about living in South Korea would be how good life is. I mean, the streets are so safe that my wife can take our child for a walk at 1 in the morning. And I won't worry about anything because
there isn't any crime.
Absolutely none at all. At least that's true in the central areas.
In the last year's ranking of the safest cities in the world, Seoul took 9th place, a bit behind Copenhagen and ahead of Melbourne. But first belongs to Tokyo. I see children, and that makes me wonder what kindergarten is like in South Korea. And naturally, I'm asking you because you have a child of your own.
When we first moved here, that was the issue that was most worrying to us. How is our child going to fit in a kindergarten in a foreign country? After all, it's not just another country, it's an entirely different culture. But then within a week, he was excited to go because he felt like he was fitting in. Because the infrastructure that they have here, even for foreigners, is incredible.
Even foreigners are given benefits.
Kindergarten costs around $450 a month, but we only have to pay around $200 because the rest is paid for by the state, although for students, they don't only help with money. For the first 2 or 3 months, they provide you with a translator, which meant that a man would come every day and translate for my child. He would sit in class with him and translate every single word into English so that my child would feel comfortable.
Sasha also says that public transport is something that Koreans take a lot of pride in, but I'm not the biggest fan of the metro. We are going down into Seoul Metro, and to me, this is one of the most incomprehensible subways that I have ever seen in my life.
To be honest, when I first came here, I also found it very confusing.
The amount that a metro ride costs depends on where you want to go. The further, the more expensive. And on top of that, the vending machines only accept cash. These machines are so temperamental, they don't always take your money.
Yeah.
If it doesn't like something about your money, it just spits it back out. In addition to the trip itself, the card needs a deposit. I still don't understand the point of the deposit. I've already paid for my ticket, and the system knows where I'm
what they
going.
do with bottles in Germany or Finland. When they're done with this bottle, you take it back to the store and they give you the cost of it back. And it's the same with the card here. When you finish your trip, you don't need it anymore. When you're done, you come back to the station, you give it back, and they give you your deposit back. You can think of it this way. Instead of buying the card forever, you only use the card once. Then you bring it back and you get a refund.
Oh, and here I've just been throwing my cards into the trash without thinking. It's a shame. At each station, there are machines into which you can return the cards. The Seoul Underground is relatively young, it's only 50 years old, but it's still among the largest and the deepest in the world. It has 9 lines, a light metro, plus suburban trains. So in total, there are almost 800 stations, and the total length of the tracks adds up to 1,300 kilometers. Every station has elevators for disabled and for children in wheelchairs.
Alright, these elevators are generally only for the elderly to use, and usually no one else takes them, not adults or even students, because they are seen as only to be used by the large population of elderly people in this country. This is something that people take very seriously. The fact that we're going to take this elevator is going to be very strange, but we don't care.
Along the platform, there are transparent sliding doors which open automatically. Once the train has arrived and come to a stop, it's safe for people to get on and off. The main complaint I have with the Seoul Metro is that there aren't many signs written in English. There are a lot of signs on the train, and they have maps with different attractions on them, but why haven't they made any of them in English? I mean, there's nothing, so how is a tourist meant to understand?
Just remember, this place wasn't only designed for tourists. I think that they think anyone who comes here should have prepared in advance. They put pictures up as well, and that makes sense because a picture says a lot more than words.
The stations are clean, but the architecture isn't much to write home about. There are cafes, toilets, and rooms for their mothers and children.
You'll see that at every metro station they have these safety islands. This is in case of disasters like fires and so on. There is water all over the place, gas masks, and so on and so forth.
So basically, if you want to find your way around the stations, you need to put some effort. But a taxi is a lot more expensive, and also takes a lot longer. Now we are going to the border zone. A new tour. This is only the second time it's running, and even our guide Maxim hasn't done it yet. So like us, this is gonna be his first time. We usually go to the border of the demilitarized zone by car, but we are going to go by train, and of course, there has to be passport control.
Keep your passport in your hand. They are going to be checking it quite a few times. And always keep your badge on you.
The staff give out drinking water, as well as a reminder. You have to be very alert and not wander around wherever you want.
Heavy rainstorms could have moved some mines around, so if you see a notice saying that somewhere is off limits, it's best to listen to that. There have been cases of mines being triggered and people having limbs torn off.
We get on the train. People wearing military uniforms do a few passenger head counts. Off we go. Outside the window is the border river Imjeongan and what is left of the old bridge, which was blown up during the Korean War. Finally, we start slowing down. We have arrived. We are at a station called Dorasan, and it is the closest station to North Korea. And also, the nearest city, Kaesan, is only 17 kilometers away. In April 2018, the leaders of 2 Korean states agreed to resume work on the railway network that had been proposed to join the North and the South. They also restored radio communication between ships. South Korea agreed to stop military training in the Yellow Sea. They agreed on a demilitarized zone, a place of peace. Relations between the nations got better, but then in 2020, tensions escalated. So this is actually not a functioning station? How?
Well, we just got here, so it must function.
Okay, but if it isn't an excursion?
No.
We climb onto a bus and drive through pouring rain into another restricted area. A massive checkpoint that government officials and workers are allowed through in times of peace. Things are starting to get real. It looks like we are finally getting to North Korea. The rules of inspection are super strict. Any product or item that is being brought from the one side to the other has to be declared, or they'll be confiscated, and you won't be let through. You can't even take your own phone with you. But my whole life is on that phone. How can I go without it?
Well, that's it. There's no choice.
Instead of communication, there's spying. On both sides of the DMZ, there are rows of binoculars where people can go and spy on life on the other side. And recently, in the demilitarized zone, in the Igibuan Eco Park, the South Koreans opened a Starbucks coffee shop, the first with a view of the north, the nearest settlement to the north, less than 1.5 kilometers away, so everything can be seen. If people want to look over the border, they first have to make it through checks at the army checkpoint, and only then can they enjoy a cup of coffee with a view.
You see that? We're not allowed to cross that yellow line.
Uh-huh. Rusty helmets, mines, grenades, and rifles. We're in the theme park. It gives us insight into the conflict between the two nations. The stele is the symbol of striving upwards to a higher goal.
This symbolizes, it's a symbol of unity between the two countries, having the same goal. And of course, the goal is finding unity.
I constantly hear from people I talk to from South Korea that they don't see any reason to unite, and I don't understand that.
Well, then you probably only spoke to one group of people. Everyone has different opinions. Maybe you haven't spoken to the people who want to unite yet.
There isn't a unified position. All communication between the Koreas has ended. The only thing that the two countries exchange these days is balloons. Activists from the South spin propaganda leaflets, money, and food to the North, which is a blatant violation of the governmental prohibition. And in return, they get balloons filled with garbage, household waste, and manure. The arrival of gifts like that from the DPRK often leads to disruptions in airport operations. For the safety of aircraft and their passengers, airspace gets closed down. Authorities send citizens SMSs with warnings about unidentified objects falling from the sky. And in fact, on our first day in South Korea, while we were waiting for our luggage at the airport, one of these warnings were sent out to us. If you find a balloon that's fallen out of the sky, please don't go near it and alert the police or military and tell them where you have found it. And that's how they communicated. Now we are in the village Ton-i, and its name translates to the Village of Unity. It was first established in 1973, on the site of an old town that was destroyed during the war. People have slowly started coming back here. There are about 400 people living here, and they engage in agriculture and the growing of beans. They also make money from tourists, selling everything they can under the catchy brand DMZ. Here we have army caps, and handbags and t-shirts and anything you want. The name is on other things too. Chocolate, for example, in the form of ballistic missiles. It's mad. And they also have them in the shape of pistols and bullets. In the village, tourists are also provided with lunch in the form of a buffet, where you can get fried pork, mushrooms, fish cakes, and the beans they grow in the area. The cafeteria is absolutely filled with people. People from all over the world come to see this area in droves. I can hear English people, French people. The buses keep coming and coming and coming. A conveyor belt. I caught an Englishman with a tray on his way out.
This is a place that people know about all over the world, and I wanted to see what it's like for myself, because I feel really bad for the people separated from their families. It's all very sad.
Once we've eaten, the tour guide offers to take us into the tunnels under the demilitarized zone, the largest tunnel dug by the North Koreans. Unfortunately, they didn't allow me to shoot when we were in the tunnel. I tried to take my phone into the tunnel to shoot some footage, but they took it away from me. And they made me feel so bad. This is the entrance to the tunnel, and there is a metal detector there. That can't be fooled. The tunnel was first discovered in 1978. It's 1,635 meters in length and about 2 meters in height. Experts have estimated that the tunnel could handle 30,000 soldiers per hour. In terms of depth, it's 73 meters. It just gets colder and colder as you go and go and go, and at some point my head started spinning. I don't know if it's because of the pressure or lack of oxygen or what. And then you walk a little hunched over for 265 meters. You must be bent over a bit because the height of the tunnel is only 2 meters and there are other restrictions. While I was walking through the tunnel, I only had one question in mind. What for? Why do people put so much time and effort into this tunnel? What was it for? People's lives don't go on forever. Yeah, it's a fact. And to spend your life digging a tunnel? Also that you can fight somebody else. To spend your life working underground. I really don't understand it. Every year, South Korea registers quite a few defectors who have crossed the border from the DPRK. Throughout history, if we believe the official statistics from Seoul, roughly 35,000 people have fled from the north. These people generally come in illegally from other countries. And when they make it, they are sent to rehabilitation center to adapt to life in the south. Lee Eran didn't just integrate herself successfully into South Korean life, but she also found success. She runs her own business in Seoul.
I opened this North Korean cuisine restaurant in 2012. I studied to be a chef, and I had hoped to introduce the people of South Korea to the national dishes that we make up in the North.
Her grandmother and grandfather moved down from the North during the war. Lee Eran, after spending 8 years in labor camp, fled the country with her father, her younger brother, and 3-month-old son. Once in Seoul, she got a degree and made a name for herself. She met Hillary Clinton, Michelle Obama, and was on TV shows.
Being popular rarely helped. It gave me the opportunity to establish a training center for other defectors.
Lee Eran also studied Russian at school and even remembered a few words.
Thank you. Nice to meet you. In North Korea, foreign literature is forbidden. But the thing is, they made exceptions for Russian literature. That was the only one allowed in. I read novels by Tolstoy, Dostoevsky, and Gogolki too.
What do you think the future of Korea is? Do you want the nations to unite? Do you want them to become one?
Yes, I do.
Lee Eran thinks of her restaurant as a step towards friendship, a soft power that supports the idea of unity. Delicious food, like potato dumplings with meat, brings people together. Not bad at all. Potatoes combined with meat. It's similar to a traditional Russian dish. I quite like it.
I like it.
Okay. I see across the room, X marked on the spot, everybody trying to zoom.
Don't be born beautiful, be born happy. Don't judge a person by their face and accept yourself. Maybe this works in other countries, but not here in South Korea. Here, if you're not born beautiful, then become it. And there are a lot of plastic surgeons to help you. South Korea is the world leader in the number of plastic surgeries per capita. If you believe what the statistics say, 1 in every 75 people become a surgeon. On top of that, more than 200,000 foreigners come every year for a procedure. We came to one of the most popular clinics in Seoul in the fashionable Gangnam. There is a lobby here, but we can't go there right now because there are too many patients taking up all the space. It's really filled wall to wall with patients. Not everyone wants to show their faces on camera, but Dasha is not shy at all.
What do you think I did?
Dasha is 22, and she has been wanting surgery since she was 16. She came to South Korea and spent a lot of money to make her dream come true, but she can't say how much it costs. She signed a contract that says she can't, but we're talking about tens of thousands of dollars.
What they did for me was reduce the cheekbones to make them smoother, and to make that possible, my cheekbones have been set into titanium plates. They also removed a bit from the corners of my jawbones, and they also, did the same to my chin.
She also had liposuction in her arms and legs. You know, they say that plastic surgery is a lot like getting tattoos. Once you get started, it is difficult to stop.
They're absolutely right. I was scared because I thought that the work on my bones would be painful, but it didn't hurt at all. The anesthesia is very good, and there weren't any side effects, and because of that, you want to start having even more work done. But the thing is, there's a bit of pain after the operation, but then you're beautiful.
The most important thing is to get an experienced specialist. 10 years ago, getting surgery done was always a gamble. The Korean Association of Plastic Surgeons stated that 90% of doctors did not have the proper training required. From 2000 to 2015, more than 200 lawsuits were recorded in South Korea, and after a Chinese woman died during an operation, the Ministry of Health stepped in. They decided there needed to be stricter controls, which meant the requirements for clinics and also requirements for specialists were made even tighter. Have you really been doing this for 24 years?
Yes.
Wow. Really? You look way too young for that.
Thank you very much.
This is the doctor who operated on Dasha. It's been almost a quarter of a century. So how have things changed? I mean, how have the client requests changed?
If it used to be popular to have a V or a bulge-shaped chin, but now that's not the case anymore. People honestly care less about fashion. They care more about what looks good on them. They are not at all interested in fitting into a specific look.
And yet the top requests have remained unchanged for many years. The operation to create a double European eyelid is still one of the most popular. Children often come to get this operation when they're still in their teens. There's also a high demand for rhinoplasty. In general, in 80% of cases, patients just want to have a facial corrective surgery. And without exception, everyone wants to look as young as possible for as long as possible.
The trend these days is to eliminate wrinkles around the eyes and nose. New technology makes it easier than ever. For example, we can insert plates around the eye. And what this does is it tightens and smoothens all of the skin around the person's face.
These plates can supposedly make someone look younger by 10 to 15 years, but over time, fat starts growing around them, and in time they need to be replaced. Yes, my friends, having this done doesn't only need money, but also courage. Would you do this? Let me know in the comments. Dasha's doctor, Oh Chang-yoon, was busy with patients, so I went to talk to his colleague. The doctor is looking at me so attentively. I'm starting to think that I have some kind of deformation. Are you looking at me and thinking, how do I improve you?
Well, I would recommend you raise your eyelids a little, and you could also remove some of the nasal folds. It would also look good.
In Korea, you don't need to go to a surgeon for advice on your looks. You can also get it from relatives or friends. And it's always meant with the best intentions. It's not being tactless, but caring. Plastic surgery started to develop here during the Korean War. American doctors would restore the faces of wounded soldiers and also gave those who wanted it eyelid surgery. The real plastic surgery boom happened in the 90s on the backdrop of economic and technological growth. The trend of getting plastic surgery was helped a lot by the K-pop industry, where the stars have faces that look like children's, and it's thanks to the actors in the Korean TV series Doram.
Hey, don't get involved. This isn't your business.
In Korea, if people don't think a woman is that beautiful, then they simply call her cute. And it never comes from a bad place of hating. Oh, you are a very cute girl.
So, what they're saying is it's time to go to the clinic. That's the message. But Koreans also don't mince their words with men. If somebody is called a squid, then that means he's terribly ugly, and you need to do something about it quickly, like seeing a surgeon. In Korea, appearance might not be a decisive factor, but it's important. Face control and dress code is very strict in a lot of companies. Discrimination? Sure sounds like it. Although the authorities are trying to fight this, they banned plastic surgery clinics advertising in the Seoul metro and schools. Most clinics are located in the fashionable area of Seoul, and there is even a term here, Gangnam Oni. This is what they call girls who have had way too much plastic surgery. The situation is slowly changing and stereotypes are finally collapsing, according to blogger Seda. She thinks that now people care more about individuality.
In percentage terms, the number of Koreans who are getting plastic surgery is much less than what people are being told on the outside.
Plastic surgery is a lucrative industry for South Korea. The number of foreign patients is only getting higher, and it's very important to maintain that image.
I have quite a lot of acquaintances, both from previous jobs and also just friends, and none of them have had any surgery done.
Fans of natural beauty are convinced that you can maintain a youthful look without needing surgery. To do this, you need water in which rice was cooked. Beauty blogger Min Kyunga shared a very popular Korean life hack.
Koreans eat rice at least 3 times in a day. Breakfast and lunch and dinner. When you make rice, you have to wash it. So when we cook the rice, we keep all the water. We use it for washing.
So you're saying you use the rice water to wash yourself?
Our faces, and also we like to use it for hair, everything. And I promise you, when we use it on our skin, it makes it look nice. And you know, there are also a lot of Korean cosmetics brands who make their products using rice water.
Rice doesn't only smoothen skin, it helps lighten it, and in Asia, people believe that the lighter the skin, the more noble the person is likely to be, and having moles is trendy.
Korean women believe that if they have a mole on the nose, then she is, without a doubt, beautiful.
So you need to have a mole right here?
Well, on the nose or on the cheek. Here.
Maybe this is all thanks to superstition. In Korea, people believe that a person's mole map dictates their character and destiny.
I have been using Korean cosmetic products for more than 23 years by now.
I thought you were 23.
Oh, no, I am actually 32 years old.
In 2023, every citizen of South Korea became 2 years younger overnight because the country moved away from the traditional system of calculating a person's age, where the year was recorded at the time of the person's birth, with another year added at the first new year in their life, which is the 1st of January. But now they've adopted the international standard, which is counted from the moment of birth without any extra years being added on.
There's a lot of competition in Korea, so Korean cosmetic companies are coming up with new ingredients every year to add to their products.
This is how Min Kyun explains the effectiveness of the cosmetic industry. Brands experiment with their products to improve them. Maybe they will add starfish extract or swallow's nest extract, and they actively use wormwood.
In Russia, people often think of it as a weed.
Yes.
But to us, it is seen as a medicinal herb. It's very good for skin with lots of problems. And they also use pine. And there are also companies who use wasabi in their products, and they also use wine, yes.
There's a joke about men's shampoo 4-in-1. It's good for the hair, the body, the dishes, and even for washing your car with. But none of that applies to Korean men.
We have a special BB cream and foundation that's sold to men. The men in our country also want to look pretty.
I can totally understand that. There's an opinion around the world that Korean men wear their own makeup, they put on foundation,
they don't.
They use eyeliner and so on.
Not all of them. Some do. But the main things people use are BB cream and sunscreen. because they want to protect their skin.
South Korea is the biggest exporter of cosmetic products after France. These exports add up to $8 billion every year, and this isn't unexpected or miraculous. Since the 70s, the government has been actively supporting the beauty industry. They sponsored the creation of research centers and offered tax breaks to manufacturers. One of the biggest ways to advertise cosmetics around the world has been product placement. Korea has made music videos and TV shows in different languages, and the main characters would casually use the products in certain scenes. Do you go to fortune tellers?
One time, I did go with a friend, but as a joke. We weren't serious. But my mother, she periodically talks to her fortune teller, but they do it over the phone. They don't do it in person.
In Korea, there's a cult of clairvoyants and fortune tellers. 2/3 of the country's citizens visit fortune tellers at least once a year. They ask for help naming a child or a business project or date to get married or move house. Basically, they'll go to them for anything. If they struggle to make a decision, it's off to the fortune teller. Alright, so where should we go?
Let's
Over
go
to that
there.
one? Cherish is a blogger who studies Russian language and culture, and she volunteered to help me.
Where is... Oh, there it is.
We find a fortune teller salon. In Korea, everything is official. There are no underground gypsies. There is even a whole association of prophets, which is made up of 300,000 fortune tellers and 150,000 shamans. I'll be honest, I'm very excited. I don't even know what question to ask. What if they give me bad news and I get really upset? You can even get readings done in English. English translations available. In the salon we're at, they have a whole lot of services available. 40,000 won for a standard one. But first, you need to get a ticket, just like at the clinic, post office, or bank.
Okay, let's take a ticket.
There is an option to have fortune telling done by the face. This is 3 times cheaper at just 15,000 won.
It'll be
Let's do the
hard,
face.
because they're
What do you
used to
think?
Koreans
because
and you're a foreigner.
Oh, they
That's
only
why.
know how to do Korean faces.
Your
They can't
face
do
is
Russian.
different. It's because you're Russian.
Let's do it. Come on, we can try. There are already a few couples that are having their readings done. There was a major occult political scandal that broke out in Korea in 2016. It came out that the president, Park Geun-hye, made decisions based on a friend's readings rather than analytics. She did this exclusively, even though Koreans go to fortune tellers all the time. The fact that she was doing this caused mass outrage, and after many protests, she was removed from her position. We were put at a separate table, and a pretty girl in a dress appeared. The first reading was going to be a classic one.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
A pleasure. What's your name?
Rada.
Rada?
The fortune teller lays her things out. She then asked me my date of birth to make the readings more accurate. Then it's time for the magic. She rings the bell so she can summon spirits, and then next with some manipulation of a few colored flags, the first revelation.
I can see that the difficult times have passed now.
I can see the difficult times have passed by now.
Oh. The next step in the reading. This part of the ritual involves bells and a fan. So what does the spirit say this time? The fortune teller supposedly sees some men around me, and also children and animals.
You're not meant to be with one person, and if you get married to someone, there will be someone else after that. Your love life is not going to be traditional, and I see a Swedish family too.
I never thought I'd have anything to do with the Swedish family. By the way, the fortune teller addresses me as you. In Korea, it's not accepted. It's seen as rude. But for fortune tellers, this kind of behavior is normal, as I found out later from Cherish.
If you were Korean, then you'll be an artist. This is your calling in life.
And then we move on to the third kind of reading. This one involves some coins. She looks at them for a while and then comes to a verdict.
I advise you to be active and to visit as many new places as you can.
Isn't that a surprise? And that is all she has for me. I asked her if she has regular clients, and I found out that people often come back to her because her predictions turn out to be accurate. Is it possible for anybody to change their fate? Is it possible to prevent something, or is everything predetermined?
My only job, is to tell you what's in store and to give you advice on how to handle your future. But whether you follow this or not will decide your fate, and unfortunately that is all I can do for you.
This fortune teller has done what she can, and another one comes to sit with us. He reads futures in people's faces. People believe that this kind of reading came to Korea from China.
Your face can be divided in three. The top is the past, the middle is the present, and the bottom represents the future. By reading these three parts, I can get the story of your life.
He looks at my forehead and tells me I had a tough childhood, which is unfortunate, because that's not the case. The man immediately starts arguing and says maybe it's inaccurate because I don't have an Asian face.
Your nose tells me that you need to get out of the house more. You shouldn't spend too much time at home.
So I need to take my nose everywhere? Right, just from the shape of my nose, you think I need to get out more. As I leave the salon, I have mixed feelings. I understand that this is all just a show. But still, that was a very unusual experience for me. And I think that she said some contradictory things. She would tell me that something was good, but then in the same breath, she would say that it was bad. And now I really don't know what I'm supposed to believe. Basically, this year will go well. Or maybe not. She is on the fence. There's a notice at the bus stop. You cannot get on the bus with food or any beverages. You're not even allowed to bring your own coffee on board. Coffee even gets its own notice. In South Korea, coffee is a cult. In a single year, South Koreans drink 353 cups, which is more than double the average around the world. And I thought I drank a lot of coffee. Wow. It all started at the end of the 19th century when the Emperor of Korea, Emperor Gojong, drank coffee every day. The court followed his lead, and before long, every person in the empire was doing the same. And what's the most popular one? Iced Americano. In Korea, they drink it morning, afternoon, and evening. Do you like coffee? Let me know in the comments. There is one place in Seoul that I especially like. Somewhere where you drink coffee and enjoy a view. It is a very popular place for dates. And when the sun goes down, the usual concrete bridge turns into a rainbow fountain. Banpo? It's 1,140 meters long. It has a place in the Guinness Book of Records, and it joins the banks of the Han River.
Save my soul.
If you don't want to miss out on new videos, then subscribe to Beautiful and Faraway right now and travel the world with us.
Woo! Come on, save my soul.